Thanks for tuning in to Money Monday. It's Shawnee, and I'm making sure that I bring you a conversation that is going to convert over into some cash. So listen up, listen up. We're having a really good conversation today talking all about cryptocurrency. So if you're kind of looking at some of your friends' Facebook pages and they're talking about how they've had all these big wins, or if you're getting all of those Bitcoin miners inside of your inside of your DM, you're like, sis, what are you talking about, right? And you're kind of hearing the buzz a little bit. You may be a little late to the cryptocurrency party. I wanted to open up that conversation with you this week with the digital CEO. Her name is Eboni Austin. She has written an amazing book to help you foundationally understand how to get into cryptocurrency. So if you have any fears, right, if you have any fears, I want you to go ahead and drop some of those questions or comments inside of the comment section, because today we're going to be talking about cryptocurrency. All right. So for those of you who've already showed up to the conversation, I want you to open up your spiritual purse, your actual purse, your bank account, your wallet, whatever it is that connects you to money, because I'm about to give you some money, honey. You ready? All right, here we go. Open up, sis. Open up, because I'm about to give you some money. If you ain't get paid today, I'm making sure that you got some money, honey. All right, so we're going to bring Ebony onto the conversation so that we can get this conversation chopping. So for those of you that are new to cryptocurrency, if you're kind of like on the edge and you're not ready to necessarily make the jump, we're going to hopefully be able to bridge that gap and help you overcome some of your fears today so that you can stop missing out on some of these massive gains, okay? So for me, I'll tell you a little bit about me. So I've spent a large part of my time of understanding money, number one, really understanding how to build a credit score. So that's one of the, a large part of my understanding is on how to manage and build credit. The other part is understanding real estate, how to buy a property, flip it, and get a profit, right? Also know how to pay a mortgage off, because that's something that I've also done, paid off a mortgage under the age of 40, right? So those are some things that I understand. I also understand life insurance. I understand how to get life insurance and be able to use it as income protection, and also use it as an investment tool. So with all of those financial instruments, baby, when the cryptocurrency came around, I just had my head down to the ground, right? I was super focused on building my business. And one of the things is because I really value the space that I take up in people's purses, in their wallets, in their heads. And if it's not something that I have tested and implemented and achieved great gains, you're probably not going to hear me talking about it. It's probably something that you're just going to hear me. I'm kind of just being really researchy about it, okay? So I want to, so for those of you who are like me, right, that is not something that Shawnee has jumped in and submerged. Shawnee always goes the first level of any understanding of any investment tool is always literacy, and then testing, right? So I wanted to make that testing conversation a whole lot easier for myself. I got this really amazing book from Ebony. We're going to drop it in the comment section as well as the link so that you can purchase it. So for those of you that may be on the fence, right? You're like me, maybe you had your head down, maybe you were focused at work, maybe you were investing in real estate, maybe you were focused on your credit, maybe you're taking care of your children, building your business, whatever it is, some kind of way you weren't in the cryptocurrency curve. You're like me, sis. Shawnee ain't get that big money like that. And I'll be looking at Ebony's profile, I'll be like, what you do? Sis, where you get that? Oh, right. And I look at a lot of my other friends, and so it's a little bit of an information gap. So for those of you who need to close out that information gap when it comes to cryptocurrency, let's go ahead and bring Ebony in the studio so that we can get this conversation rocking. Thanks, Ebony. All right. Can you hear us, Eb?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Did you pick up some of that money, honey?
I did pick up some. I have some in my purse.
Okay, you have some in your purse, in your digital purse, your actual purse, your spiritual purse, all your purses on lock.
Yes.
All right, good. Okay, so we do have a few questions before I jump into mine. One of this is coming from Nicole Vassiana. She's asking, only invest what I can do without and invest with BlockFit to gain interest. That's more of a comment. She didn't have a question. Okay. She says she loves her some crypto. Okay. Someone else, Tosha says, so ready. What's up with them altcoins though? Thought Ripple was going to take off 2 years ago. Do you have any thoughts and ideas about Ripple and altcoins?
So yeah, I'm really excited about Ripple now, because as we're getting more adoption, there's a lot of things going on the back end with a lot of people, that's going to help push Ripple right now. Right now with the SEC, they're in the middle of court cases, but everything is really looking good right now for Ripple. So it's really not about this is supposed to happen 2 years ago. We're so early in cryptocurrency. We're so brand new. This is such a new space that any crypto can start having a significant amount of gains, right? So I would say as far as XRP, I'm still bullish on XRP, and there's so many other altcoins as well. I always tell people don't always get stuck on one because there are so many different coins that you can choose from. So I'm definitely bullish on XRP, and we're still new. We're still at the beginning, so I'm excited about it.
All right, so that part really excites me that you keep saying that, right? So for those that are like me that have had their head down, building their business in real estate investing, understand that paying off the debt, all of those things, it really excites me that it's not too late, because a lot of the times, a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, a lot of them, it's like, I don't know, Shani, I think it's too late for me to get in now. And what do you say to that, Ebony?
Absolutely not. We are still in the baby stages. Early adoption. We just hit over 100 million users when it comes to cryptocurrency. So we are still in an infant stage. So right now, when you start purchasing crypto, you're actually an early adopter. So for you right now who's trying to think, is it too late for me? I've already missed it. You have not missed the mark. You just need to get started today with educating yourself so you can start investing today. And your grandchildren's children can say, my grandparents put me in a position to have these assets that started when they were young, right? And now we're making decisions today that's going to change our entire family's life in the future. So you are not too late. Get educated so you can get wealthy now.
All right, sounds good. All right, so tell me about, there might be a lot of newbies here. There may be newbies. I see Tosha over here and I see Nicole here. So they seem to be in the crypto clan. They seem to be getting their shmoney in the crypto world, right? But there may be some other newbies. If you're newbies and you're kind of just like on the fence and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know about the digital dollars. I'm trying to figure it out. So can you, Ebony, share with us like one of your biggest gains, So for those of us that are sitting on the fence, we better be like, man, we better do something. Give us an example of a big gain.
Well, I'm going to tell you that Bitcoin has been the highest growing asset in the past 10 years. All right. So it has grown more than anything else in your 401k today. Not only in the past 10 years, but Bitcoin has grew literally 200% every single year, with this year having significant amount of gains. So it's really all about how much you can afford to invest. Whatever you can afford to invest, guys, I'm telling you, as Bitcoin grows, your money is gonna grow as well. And right now that we are in this dip, so there are so many different coins that are on discount, what I like to call it. So you have opportunities right now to start investing. So if you're thinking about a percentage, like what can be the biggest gain, I'm telling you, Bitcoin has been gaining every single day. Of course, we're in this dip right now, but every year we're getting higher and higher prices. So you just got to get in.
All right, so it sounds like I'm not alone, right? There's a few people here. A lot of my real estate buddies are on here saying I haven't jumped in yet. Tosha saying that she had Bitcoin dropped at $3,000. Someone else saying that they wish, and a lot of people are, just so you get a feel for the audience, a lot of people saying I'm really trying to figure it out. So this conversation is really for people who want to get in the game, right? So you've already, kind of shared with us some, that the fact that, hey, it's a little safe, it's been gaining for, 200% over and over again. So it means that this is a good time for you to get in. It's not too late for you to get in, but the biggest way is to start bridging that gap in your education to be able to do so. So speaking of which, your book, right? And one of the things that excited me about your book, and this is one of the things that I'm always challenged by, is two things. Money has to keep up with taxes and inflation. It has to do that. So I like the historical parts of your book that really address how this is giving you the opportunity, number one, to keep pace. And this represents like the decentralization of money. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that'll help people really who are on the fence like me to get into it. So talk about this decentralization of money.
Yes, absolutely. So what we have right now in our monetary system, we are a part of a centralized network. So what that means is the entire money supply is owned and operated by one entity. And see, that's what makes cryptocurrency so amazing, because there's not one entity that owns it. So when you have, the government owning all the money supply, then you have problems like inflation, because they continue to pump money inside. And we haven't even seen hyperinflation, guys. But all this money they keep pumping inside the system, guys, you're going to see it, right? We have money from the stimulus checks. Of course they just shot it down, but we'll see what they're going to do about this minimum wage. You got another stimulus check that's about to come. So all this money consistently being pumped into the economy, what's going to happen is the price of living is going to go up. So what Bitcoin does, it holds that money. You're not looking at inflation when it comes to Bitcoin because of the scarcity of the coin. You only have 21 million coins that can be mined forever. And right now we're only at about 18 million, with the last Bitcoin not being mined until 2140. So you still have a lot of opportunities. So I want you guys to think today, where we have a $50,000 Bitcoin, but we're looking at the last Bitcoin not being mined until 2140. That means you're going to see prices like $100,000 Bitcoin, which we are projecting happens this year. You're going to see $200,000 Bitcoin, maybe even $1 million Bitcoin. So it's important for you to understand, keeping your money inside of fiat currency, you're going to consistently see that you're going to lose purchasing power. So your dollar is not going to be worth as much as it is today 5 years from now. So with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, I don't compare Bitcoin to the US dollar. I look at Bitcoin as its own entity. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, right? So with you starting to invest now, for one, you're getting your money out of fiat currency. You're holding it somewhere where you can continue to grow that asset, right? Because it's not doing anything in your bank. And you're getting way ahead of it, because soon Bitcoin will not be available. Of course, we might not be here when that happens, but that's why you got to start investing today.
Okay, so for those of you who are asking, we have dropped Ebony's book inside of the comment section if you guys want to grab it and get some more of her. She did an excellent job in her book and being able to drop to really help you to understand what it is like to go ahead and decentralize money and what that means for your purchasing power. So for, your grandma, my grandfather always talking about it now. When I used to go to the movies, it cost me 50 cents, right?
Exactly.
But now it costs $12. So that's what we're talking about when it comes to keeping your money somewhere and then it not having the same amount of value. You're not going to be able to get the same exact things that you got before. We do have a question before I get into another question. Is it good to get in now while it's in the dip? Meaning, right now it's low. So what
Absolutely.
should we do?
Yeah, I talk about that all the time on my Instagram. If you're not following, make sure you follow me at @_the digital CEO. But I talk about the two different ways that you can start getting into Bitcoin. And that's, for one, buying the dip, and two, dollar cost averaging. So buying the dip is so important. So right now you see companies like MicroStrategy, right? Elon Musk just put $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. MicroStrategy just bought more Bitcoin. So you see these big, multi-millionaire, multi-billion-dollar companies buying Bitcoin now. It should tell you, well, if they're buying, then I should buy as well. So yes, buying the dip is one of the best ways that you can start investing, but I definitely recommend you do both. You buy the dip and you dollar cost average your way inside of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as well.
All righty. We also have another question here for Tanya. What websites do you use to purchase Bitcoin? What websites do you recommend?
So you can use several different websites. I talk about this inside of my book and the masterclass that I have. So you can use Coinbase, you can use crypto.com, you can use Kraken.com, you can use Binance.us. So it's so many different exchanges that you can purchase, but it's a process. So you have to purchase your Bitcoin, then you want to send your Bitcoin to a wallet so you can protect your assets. And again, if you're looking to step more into this, I have a book that we've been talking about and a masterclass. In the masterclass, I walk you through step by step on how to purchase it and how to send it to a digital wallet.
Sounds good. Now, I know that there's over 4,000 different types of coins. What are some other ones that you invest in other than Bitcoin? Do you have some other favorites outside of Bitcoin, despite it being the trendsetter?
Yeah, absolutely. And Bitcoin, of course, was the first, successful cryptocurrencies. So you have Bitcoin, and then you have what's called alternative coin, or better known as altcoins, right? But alt just stands for alternative. So with that, I'm investing into a lot of different projects I believe in: Cardano, VeChain, Ethereum, Polkadot. What's some other ones? Synthetics. I mean, I have a list full that my investment community, we talk about, we research, and we're all invested into them. But that's just a couple to name a few.
And there's one, I also know that you work with Guapcoin as well. Guapcoin is actually a Black-owned coin. So that is also another one that people can look into, Guapcoin.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now more to a little bit more to my audience, because most of the times we're talking about building credit scores, purchasing properties, eliminating debt, right? So a question, and I like that, Tosha, of course, diversification, especially when you start talking about inflation, right? But the other thing would be, would you say that you would be focusing more on investing in Bitcoin or debt elimination if you had maybe about $30,000-$40,000 in student loan debt? You were right on that average of about $6,000 that every American has when it comes to credit card debt. What would you be doing? Would you be going after the Bitcoin or doing debt elimination?
Yeah, so what I have to say probably won't be okay with the masses, because I'm going to say invest, to make that money grow, and then you can start paying off different things. I believe it's all about a percentage. When you get a dollar, I believe that your dollar doesn't belong to you, right? So in your $1, you should be having percentages of it to be able to put towards, I'm going to put this towards debt. I'm going to put this towards my investments. I'm going to put this towards, my emergency fund. I'm going to put this towards, whether it's just my pay myself first fund, right? So I believe you should just take your money and do what's necessary with it. So you can still be investing inside of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to see that. And for Bitcoin is more for me as a long-term asset. So I have other coins that I look at that when I get my increase, I'm pulling out. So then when you get your return back, which could be 200%, 300% on your money, you can take those profits and then put it towards your debt elimination. So I say invest first. It's not going to be, widely accepted, but that is just me.
Well, I like more on the other side, just because more so with the risk attached to investing, whether it's in coins or it's in the market, just the amount of risk there. I mean, the interest rate on your debt is going to be the interest rate on your debt. You're going to get that. But I do like what you said at the latter part, where you're saying in terms of percentages. Percentages is a better way to go about it, as opposed to just having like a singular type of approach. I'm just going to do debt. I'm just going to pay off my student loans. I'm just going to work on my credit score. It would be better to just go ahead and do it in percentages. So for those of you that are kind of like a newbie, for me, you're not going to see me, completely change up and say, hey, I'm going to put all of my money over here. What you're going to do is see me go through a learning curve, which opens up with Ebony, and then you're going to see me do percentages there. So I can tell you about my wins, I can tell you about my loss, as opposed to kind of pooling. So there's a lot of information, of course, when we start talking about stimulus checks coming now, sis. They want to take those stimulus checks, and look at your face. Look at your face. They want to take those stimulus checks and throw those stimulus checks right into the Bitcoin. What are your thoughts on that?
So let me say this. If you would have invested your $1,200 stimulus check you got back in April, today that $1,200 will be $10,000.
I heard that. I ain't got nothing.
So
let me throw the money at you. Let me just
seriously. So after I say that, what I'm going to say is, listen, if this is extra money, because for some people it's extra money.
For some people it's extra money.
Yeah, it's not money that you need. It's just like, you probably are going to go shopping. If that money is not used to pay household needs that you have, and you plan on taking that money to go on a trip, or you're taking that money to go shopping, invest it, every dollar.
Okay, I'm with you on that 100%, because a lot of my clients did fall within that boat where it really was just extra money.
Right.
How do you purchase products with, okay, so we got another question from Tanya. She's saying, how do you purchase products with Bitcoin?
So right now, roughly about 36% of businesses are starting to accept Bitcoin. And I believe that right now we have MasterCard and Visa. They're starting to come over. They're going to be starting to allow their merchants to accept Bitcoin. So I believe as we continue this adoption, and right now, like I said, MasterCard and Visa are stepping in. You can actually go look that up. I believe we're going to see more and more businesses start opening to start accepting crypto, especially that credit card fees have just went up for for all businesses. So when you go to a business and you use your card, their fees that they have to pay on the back end is actually going up. So that's why MasterCard and Visa are starting to look at cryptocurrency like, okay, maybe this is going to be a way that we can help our business owners save on those fees. So I believe that it's going to continue the adoption is going to continue to grow. But right now you can do a lot of things. Like, for example, if you have AT&T, they accept Bitcoin to pay your internet bill, your phone bill, your cable bill. You also can, it's a couple different, I believe the Miami Dolphins Stadium, they also accept Bitcoin, and certain websites will accept Bitcoin. I believe that we're going to continue. The adoption is going to grow, so you'll have more places. But right now, I wouldn't even be looking at spending my Bitcoin. You want to buy and hold. Buy and hold right now. All right. So let's not think about spending. Let's think about it as a way for you to start growing your money that was going to just sit in your bank anyway.
I know you're going to love this question right here. This one came from Tanya again, and she wanted to know, because you addressed this in your book, so I'm going to give you the chance to expound on it even more. She wants to know whether or not if Bitcoin is backed by gold.
No, it is not. Bitcoin is backed by the technology behind it. And the technology is what's really going to take cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and so many other things to the next level. So it's not backed by gold.
Right. So that was really huge. That was a really huge point, because you really expounded about that in your book, about it only being backed by the tech world, because when gold goes up and goes down, then it's attached to that going up and going down. So it's kind of holding its own place in terms of value. I really, really like that.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. Oh, Cache had this. Okay. So another question that we got from someone else is, they wanted to know, and you kind of touched on this a second ago, they wanted to know whether or not if you would use Bitcoin as a way to save for a house. I know you kind of touched on it before, but you can expound on it again, or whether or not if you think that would be a good way to go about saving for a down payment using Bitcoin.
So it's so many other projects that are available out here that will give you quicker returns than Bitcoin right now. You got to look at Bitcoin as your long-term asset, right? Right now, you wouldn't spend your gold if you had gold. So I want you to look at Bitcoin as a long-term asset. And there's other cryptocurrencies today that you can start investing in to get a quicker return, so that then you can take that money and put it towards a down payment.
So for those of you who had that question, say, hey, should I be using this as a way to eliminate debt? She's saying specifically not Bitcoin. You should probably look into some other Bitcoins that have a faster returns. Bitcoin is more of a long-term strategy. All right, folks. So those are the questions that we had. This is definitely a way to close the wealth gap, which is something that you continue to impress upon when it came to your book, about a way to go ahead and close in the gap between the amount that we're able to bring to the market and the amount that we're able to make in the market. Okay. Yeah. Cache, one last question, and then we're going to head over to IG. So if you guys want to come over to IG, you can head over there with us, but we're going to pick this conversation up and get some fresh questions, honey. Yeah. All right, Cache, last one. I had investments in XRP. Money can be made on the buy and sell of cryptos too. So that seemed more like a comment. You want to expose on that, when she had money investments in XRP. Money can be made on the buy and sell of cryptos too.
Well, if she means as far as trading, because I trade cryptocurrencies as well. So there's a leverage and a non-leverage side when it comes to cryptocurrency. The leverage side is your daily trading. So your day trading, where we can make money when the price is falling, and we can make money when the price is going up as well. Then you have your non-leverage side, which is when you are investing and you're holding for a particular time to wait for, a particular increase that you're looking for. So if you're talking about that way, yes, absolutely.
We want to thank Ebony for hanging out and making sure we get some digital dollars inside of our purse. We have dropped her book link inside of the comment section. If you have any questions about purchasing land, all next week we are going to be talking about how to start purchasing land, get some land ownership inside your purse. So if you have questions about that, you can email me or drop them in my DM, and then we'll talk to you next week. Until next time, do at least one thing that's going to add some value to your purse. We're heading over to IG. So if you want some more Ebony in your purse, just follow us, sis.
Yes.
See you later.